feet by 2.5 feet. It takes a lot of time if you keep filling it up with the brush. So what I'm going to do is first I'll show you all the sponge technique. So I'm going to mix a few colors. Like these are the colors that I'm directly applying on the canvas, and I'll be blending them while I'm using the sponge. So I take a color scheme in mind and I find out the 2-3 colors that are related to that. Like the first color is a shade of brown, second one is blue, and third is magenta. And the last one is raw sienna. I took out the wrong color. Sorry. So this is a very effective and quick technique. So now I've dipped the sponge in water and just keep spreading and brushing this color across. As you take the other color, it automatically blends with the earlier color and you get a third shade. And within no time, your canvas is full of colors, breaks the monotony of the white canvas, and slowly the picture that's there in your mind starts taking shape. I'll now make this color a bit uniform after spreading it. So today the techniques that I'm using are all water-based techniques. There is no oil in this. First I spread the color and mix the shades. Then I fill up all the white spaces. And lastly, if you want a plain uniform effect, then you can just take the sponge and move it across in a uniform direction from top to bottom or bottom to top. It gives a nice plain effect. If you want the textured effect, you can keep the strokey effect as it was earlier. Sometimes there are lumps in the color. So with this, it's assured that all the color is nicely and evenly spread across the canvas. So this is a kind of wash that we give in acrylic paints, similar to how we do it for the watercolor landscapes, if you know. Now, secondly, first is a wash, second is the texture. Now, since there are rocks and trees and water in this, we need some texture that resembles them. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle some water on this, like some water drops. It naturally forms some shapes as per how you are sprinkling the water. Then you can take any rag and the way you want the texture, you can just dab the rag on the sprinkled water so that it creates a nice texture. You can feel the rocks, the rockiness of the rocks shaping up with this.
हेलो यार सेशन बंद करो।
Generally, after this step, I wait for a while to so that the colors are dried. So in between, if you have any question related to this, the process up till now, you can ask in the meanwhile, or I can proceed. So this is the textured effect, the base of the painting that we have got with the sponge and the cloth. Does anyone want to ask anything? Okay. Now the next. Okay. Now the next step comes with the actual usage of colors with the brushes. Now acrylic is a very synthetic medium. So generally the palettes that you can use for acrylic are use and throw plastic plates of lids of containers, and you can use it and then just dispose it off because it's very difficult to clean the colors afterwards. So I use these kind of plastic plates for the painting, and then after the painting is done, I just dispose them. So as you all know, there are a lot of tones in when we do a landscape or object drawing. So let us treat this as a middle tone, and I will fill up the dark tones and the light tones so that it starts giving it a dimension overall. The brushes that are used for acrylics are also synthetic hair brushes. So they are soft for a while, but after some time they get hard. So eventually you also have to keep on changing and buying new brushes so that the softness of the bristles is maintained. I've taken 2-3 colors in my palette. Dark, a mauve color, cobalt blue, and a very dark shade of grey. I'll slowly fill up all the dark tones. Now, since the base color is wet, I can take advantage of that and blend it a bit. If the color dries up, then it cannot be blended. That is one disadvantage of acrylic colors, unlike the oil paints, where the paints are wet for a long time, and you can also work upon it on the second day and at times on the third day as well. But with acrylic paint, it just dries up within no time, especially in summers, it's very difficult. So if you want to blend this with some other color, then you have to blend it at real time till this color is wet. Once it dries up, there's no chance of blending. There are also various knives and rollers to fill up the spaces. It gives different effects. The rollers give you the Asian Paints Royale kind of wall texture effects.
Recording in progress.
And the knife technique gives the stroke effect, which is called as the impasto style. Now, as I'm filling up the colors, I'm trying to create distance in the landscape. I'm using a canvas for this. This is a canvas which is stretched on a frame, on a wooden frame. It's not a paper, but acrylic paints can also be used on paper as well as on canvas. They can also be used on hard boards, fabrics. You can also use them on your furniture to paint your furniture. So it's a very, very friendly medium. Now the texture that we have got with the earlier effects, we need that texture. So I'm not filling up the entire part because then the textural effect will go off. If you are unaware of what is a canvas, it's a cloth. It's a thick cloth with lot of grains, and there are a lot of varieties in the canvases also, like smooth grain canvas, thick grain, matte, smooth finish, lot of effects in that. Colors have got over, so I'm refilling my colors again. Another disadvantage of colors is, of acrylic colors is that you cannot take out lot of color on the palette like oil paints because it dries up. So generally, what I do is I take sufficient quantity of colors that I require and I keep refilling it so that I don't waste any color. So these are all the dark tones of the rocks that I am filling in. The textural effect will be the middle tones and light tones I'll give on top. Every artist has a certain style of brushing. So my style of brushing is more of the dry brush kind of effect where I control the pressure Like you can see the same color is dark in some places, and then as I reduce the pressure, the same color becomes lighter in other places. So it also depends on how you are using the brush, how much pressure are you applying, what is the direction of your stroking, all those things. Every different style brings different effects to your works. Generally, this size of work takes around 7 to 8 hours minimum to turn into a good painting. But today we have just 1 hour, so I will have to do this very quickly.
So, ma'am, one of our students is asking, while using acrylic, do we have to use, or do we go for dark tones or lighter tones?
While painting,
Yeah.
see, acrylic colors are colors which allow you to make mistakes. So even if you start from dark to light or light to dark, it doesn't matter. It's about the judgment that's there in your mind, how you want to turn it out. So basically, both the ways around, it's fine. Once the color dries up, and if you want to do any corrections, then it allows you to do. So generally, my style of doing is I first do the middle tones, then I do the dark tones, and last I do the light tones. So it gives a nice gradual development. But everyone has their own ways, so there is no hard and fast rule about this. It depends on how your mind thinks and how the effects are there in your mind that you want to transform it on the canvas. So while working, if you all have any questions, you all can ask. I can answer them. If you all can see, then the dark tones are prominently visible now. After doing this, I'll fill in the water so it also gives a nice depth into it. As you can see, the rocks that are closer are lighter, and as they move away, they turn dark into the forest. So that gives a nice perspective and distance effect. For the water, I've taken two shades, emerald green and cobalt blue, which is again a middle tone of the water, which I'll first fill in. The water comes down from the top. Since the color beneath is wet, it creates some natural waves and strokes in the water. So another thing about using any medium, the particular object that you are doing, if the stroking is according to that, like for example, now I'm doing the water. So if my strokes are like waves, then it gives it added natural advantage instead of giving vertical strokes. If I use the strokes like the medium or the texture, then it brings the natural element in the color. There is also a drip technique wherein you give lot of flows, transparent flows, and then you can make the canvas stand, and then all the flows come down, and you get the dripping effect. So that effect also you can use in some of your works. There are a lot of hundreds and thousands of techniques that can be invented and used while doing acrylic. You can use stencils. You can use different surface materials uh, like the bubble wrap. Put on color on that and just press it on the canvas. So you get different textures of different objects. Now this is the basic water filling that I have done. And to balance this color, I'm giving some of it in the top part, which are the leaves of the dense forest. And also there is a little small patch of the sky which is visible in between the trees. So here the stroking is different. So I'm giving it like a spread out effect, which gives the effect of leaves. It's not like the water that we have given. This is a part of the trees and the sky, which is visible from through the leaves and the trees. Just in the center. I'm adding the light tones. First, I'll fill up the sky with this. The strokes are closer in the center, and as they move away, they diffuse into the forest. These strokes I'm putting it in a wavy form so that it looks like water. There are also some reflections in the water. Reflection of the rocks. While painting, another thing that you also have to keep in mind is taking a break and viewing your work from distance. So after say every 15 minutes, you stop, you go back and see how it's coming out, because continuously staring at your work will just lead you to do overwork or maybe make some mistakes that you cannot foresee before. So there are knives like these. Okay, these are the painting knives wherein you make a color and you apply it with the knife on top of the painting. And this is roller. It comes in different sizes. Even the knives, there are big knives also. So you, this is the color that I have made. You just press the roller onto it and you move across, then it creates a nice texture in the background. I'm filling up the rest of the forest with the roller effect so that you all know how it works. It creates a different texture. With the roller also you can mix 2-3 colors simultaneously. As you move the roller, the colors mix into each other. So with the roller, basic canvas is covered with a different texture. And I will also show you some of the knife effect, which I will be using for the light tone. While using acrylic, it is very important that you clean your devices, the equipments that you use at every step, because once the color dries up, you will not be able to reuse it. Like your brushes, your knives, your rollers, whatever you're using, you need to keep cleaning it at every step. So now, since I'm using slightly different colors for the light tones, I have changed my palette, and I'll also change my brush so that the light colors don't mix in the dark ones. So there is sunlight that comes inside the forest, so I'm using little warm colors. to show the light falling on the rocks. And coming through the trees. If I want to give small strokes, then I'll use the knife which is little longer and has a small tip. And if I want to cover large areas, I'll use the one which is broader and has a broad tip. So first I'll do the rocks. So for the rocks, I'm using the broader knife. With the knife, you have to mix the colors first, shades that you want. And then slowly you can apply it wherever you want. In some parts you can also blend and spread the texture. All these mediums and techniques take a lot of time of doing lot of R&D. If you try this, be ready to make lot of mistakes and get lot of different effects than what I have shown. Unless and until you are well versed with the medium and the medium becomes your friend, there is no assurance that you will get exactly that effect, but be open to make mistakes, and that's how you learn. There's a lot of fun to go wrong and then find the right direction. So this I have covered the rocks with the larger knife. Now I am putting a little strokes in the leaves. Take the smaller one. Some highlights on the rocks with the yellows. Now the final touches, wherever I feel that some of the colors have got mixed up or some of the forms are not clearly visible. So there I'll make some touch-ups. And then we are done with the painting. Some of the dark tones get wiped off when you are giving all these effects. So if you want to create more contrast in your works, you have to touch up some of them. So every painting looks good with as much as dimensions you can put into it. It puts a lot of life into the non-living painting. Yeah, so with this, the painting is done. It's one of the quickest paintings that I have done in a very long time. There is a lot to do in this, like blending all these areas. It's quite rough right now. So with more time, every technique, every step that I have shown can be done with by taking a lot of time, soaking in, applying, thinking about every color that you use and apply, and the way that you are applying. It takes a lot of time to blend all the things. Right now, it's a very patchy work because we didn't have much time. But with more time, every step you can blend in the colors. Like all these effects can be smooth effects if you want. It can be rough effects if it depends on the artist. Some of them like smooth stroking, some of them like more of the bold brush strokes. So with more time, more patience, and slowing down every step by say 15 more minutes, it can give you some more effects. So we are open to the Q&A. If you all have any doubts, want to share or ask anything, you all can ask.
Students are really enjoying the painting. They all are loving it. Right from our YouTube session to the people in the Zoom.
Okay, that's nice. I'll have a look at the comments later.
Sure.
Yeah.
So students,
So
if you have
besides,
any, sorry,
sorry.
ma'am. So if students, if you have any question, please ask.
Yeah, and so besides this, I also take a lot of online teaching. I teach from kids to adults, and whatever courses they want, I design it accordingly. So if anyone is interested in taking up like acrylic painting or learning oil painting or sketching, drawing, or just the basic beginner level of drawing and painting, you all can contact me and do have a look at my works on revatigangal.com. They have all my paintings that I have started since 2007 and thoughts behind my works, how I work, my work process, and they say a lot about the paintings also. So please do have a look at my website, and if you want to learn, you can contact me anytime.
So on behalf of VEDA College, I'd like to thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful session. I'm sure students learned a lot today. Understood this from the comment itself. We could see they love the paintings and everything. So before we close down this session, I would just like to share a certificate for you for conducting this workshop.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. So this is a small certificate from our end for you, ma'am, for conducting this workshop. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I will do the same with you. So now we can
Thank you so much. That's very nice, very kind of you.
Yes.
And the college.
Yes. So on behalf of VEDA College, thank you so much. Thank you, students, for participating. And we'll see you in the next session. I hope, ma'am, you conduct such workshop for us in the future also. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to show some of my acrylic paintings that I had done. Like I could see some comments where the students are requesting that if I could show my works. So some of the recent paintings that I have done with acrylics, I'd like to share with you all. So is there a share? Can I share the screen?
You can share the screen, ma'am.
Okay. So my normal style of painting is figurative, and this is a series of works which was titled Interwoven Odysseys, where it was talking about three female protagonists. It was like a novel unfolding their lives. So I work a lot on the conceptual level. So these are the women in different stages of their lives, like from teenage to middle age, and from motherhood to parenthood. All the phases of women I've tried to touch in this series. And if you can see here, the handling of acrylic medium and the brushing is very smooth. So I've taken a lot of time to blend all the tones, and in some parts, like here, you can see the wash effect. In bits and parts, it's smooth. In some parts, it's textural. So it totally depends on what kind of mood and environment you want to create with your subjects and the medium. So this is all most of feminine topics. This series was basically based on that journey. You can say my journey from teenage to motherhood, and then again getting back to work and the various struggles and conflicts and inner turmoils that everyone faces in different phases. So yeah, all those topics were covered in this, and all these paintings are purely acrylic on canvas. There is no other medium used in this. Just a minute. Then the earlier works were smooth works, and here you can see lot of texture has come again in the work, like the texture on the bodies and around. Here also there is lot of texture. If you can see in the female figure, the spotting effect that I've tried on this canvas is there, and then around it it's softer tones. So all these paintings, like here, if you can see on the deer, there again there is a texture effect, and then around it it's smoother. The figure in the background also has a lot of texture. So in acrylic, you have lots of possibilities, lots and lots of possibilities to explore. Here you can see the same rock effect in the fishes around, and then the face is quite calm and smooth. So a contrast between the roughness and the smoothness is also something that creates the painting, gives a very interesting dimension to the works. If you can see the body, its transformation from the tiger skin to the trees. So the texture has helped me a lot to show this transformation from a human being to the tree, and the animal instinct that is inside. I thoroughly enjoy this medium a lot, and the possibilities and the effects that it allows me to emote myself and show various themes and concepts. It's a very fabulous medium. And some of the last works in this series. This is again a girl sitting in a landscape where it's absolutely smooth. So the oil painting effect, where you can blend the tones and create lots of dimensions with different colors, can totally be achieved with acrylic. It just needs a lot of patience and timing. You really have to be very quick if you want to have this effect, and perfect judgment of the colors and shades that you want in your works. So that's how you can achieve, both styles of painting in acrylic paint with acrylic medium. So yeah, Rahul sir, so I'm done with showing my basic works. There are lots and lots of works. Right now I'm working with a different medium. I keep changing my medium. So if you all are interested, you all can have a look at all those works on my website.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, students. That was some really lovely paintings, ma'am. Thank you so much. Guys, joining, thank you so much. We'll see you in our next workshop. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye.
Have a good day.